about IDE in Visual Basic, that is Integrated Development Environment in VB. So today we are going to learn about controls in Visual Basic. So yesterday we have discussed about the toolbox. So this toolbox consists of different types of controls or objects, or we can also call it as tools. So in this toolbox we will have different types of controls. So some of the controls that are present on the toolbox are pointer tool, label tool, text box tool, command button tool, picture, combo box, shape tools, and image tools. These are the different tools that are present on the toolbox. So the tools that can be visible on the toolbox are called as an intrinsic controls. So these are all the intrinsic controls. So the tools that cannot appear on the toolbar are called as an extrinsic controls. So today we will see about these intrinsic controls. The first control in the toolbox is pointer tool. It symbols as an arrow mark. So this pointer tool provides the way to resize or move the controls. If you want to move the control, or if you want to resize the control, that is if you want to increase the size of the control, or if you want to decrease the size of the control, or if you want to delete the control also, we must select it by using this pointer tool only. So this is automatically activated when the user places a control on the form. So if you want to place the control on the form also, we can use the pointer tool by double clicking it or by drag and dropping it in the form designer window. So to get the mouse pointer back, click the pointer tool again. Once again we must click the pointer tool. This pointer tool does not have any properties. It don't have any properties. So yesterday we have discussed that every control in the toolbox consists of properties, methods, and the events. But in case of this pointer tool, it don't have any properties. Next, coming into the label. So this label is a control that can be used to display text that user can edit directly. So if you want to display the text on the form, then compulsorily we must keep the label box on the form designer window. So in this label box, the user can directly edit it. Editing is nothing but we can make changes, or we can delete the text, or whatever if you want to do, we can add the text, or everything we can do in the label box. So some of the properties of this label box are name, caption, font, border style, appearance, etc. So name is given a name to the label. For every label box we will give one name. So we can give the name by using the property known as name. Similarly, caption. This is the text displayed in the label. Whatever if you want to type the text in the label, that represents the caption. For every label we can give the name. For every caption, that means if you want to type any text in that particular label, that is called as a caption. That is the difference between a name and the caption. Font. If you want to give different types of font styles we are having, if you want to give if you want to increase the font size, or if you want to decrease the font size, or if you want to change the font style, default the font style will be the Times New Roman. If you want to change the font style, or if you want to size the font also, we can do it by using this font property known as font. Next, the border style. So we are having different types of border styles, line or dotted line, dash dot lines, like that. We'll have different types of border styles. So if you want to change the border style, we will use this property border style. And also the appearance of a label. That means the label can be appeared in 3D form or flat form. So if you want to give a 3-dimensional appearance, we can give 3D form. Or if you want to give a flat appearance, we can select the flat form. These are the different properties we are having. Next, events. The common events for all the controls are click event and double click event. This click event is triggered when the user clicks on the label. So after writing a code, if you give a click event, when we place the pointer on the label and click it, automatically that trigger will be fired. Double click. Similarly, this event is triggered when the user double clicks the label. If the user double clicks the label, automatically the coding that we have written for that particular double click event will be fired. Next is the text box control. So the text box is a control that is used to receive the input from the user and also to display the output. So this is by using this text box, we can give the input and at the same time we can display the output in the text box. It can handle string and also the numeric data, but we cannot place the pictures or images in this text box. So we are having different types of properties in this text box. So one is the name, as discussed. If we want to give the name to a particular text box, we will take the property as name. And appearance, say we can make a text box in 3-dimensional or a flat in appearance, and also maximum length. So this limits the length of the text box. So if the value 0 indicates it is having the limited length. If you give 1, we can type any maximum length of the text in the maximum length of text in the text box. So multi-line. By default, the text box displays only single line. It displays only the single line. If you want to make a text box to display multiple lines, then the property must be changed as a multi-line. So for every text box, if you want to print the output in a multi-line, go to the text box, select the text box and go to the properties and make the text box as a multi-line. So this specifies whether the text box displays a single line or the multi-lines. If you want to make it as a single line, by default it will be single line. If you want to make it as a multi-line, then we must select as a multi-line. Next is the password char. So it hides the text when with a single character. If you want to hide the text, we can hide the text by using the property password char and also enabled. So value will be true or false. It determines whether the text box responds to any event or not. So if it is not responding to any event, then it is disabled. That means it was make it as a false. If you want to make it as a true, we can make it as a true. So locked. So this value true or false determines whether the text box contents will be changed or not. So if you don't want to change the text box contents, we can click the property as locked. So if you want to, that means we must make the locked as true. So if you want to change the contents in the text box, we can make it as a false. Next property is the text property. This is the string to be displayed in the text box. What is the text that we are displaying on this text in the text box will be displayed on the text. That is called as a text. Next, events. We are having one event for this one is change. This event is triggered every time when the text box displays a single line or multiple line. So actually default it will be a single line. If you want to make it as a multiple line, then the change event automatically will be fired. It will be fired automatically. So internally some coding will be written to this change event. So automatically if you change it to the multiple line, automatically it will be fired and the user can enter a multi-line in a text box. Next is the method. So similarly, I told you previously, for every control we will have different types of properties, events and methods. So for this text box we are having the method known as set focus. So this set focus method is used to position the cursor inside the text box. So it is used to position the cursor inside the text box. That is about this method for the text box. Next is the command button. So the command button is the control that is used to execute commands, and it displays an illusion that the button is pressed when the user clicks on it. Command button is nothing but if you write some coding to this command button, if you click that command button, that particular command will be fired. So it is nothing but a executing the commands that we have written for this particular command button. So next, some of the properties for this command button are appearance. We can make it as a flat or 3D appearance. Caption, we can give some name to this command button, that is this is a string that is displayed on the command button. On the above the command button, we can display some name for that one. Command button 1, command button 2, like that. That is the caption we are giving to this command button. Next, visible. We can make a command button visible, true or not. So if you want to see the command button on the form window, form designer window, then we must make it as true. If you don't want to see the command button on the form window, we can make it as a false. Next, font. So if you give any caption to that particular command button, we can change the font style and also the font size. That means we can increase the size of the font or we can decrease the size of the font. Next, enable. Its value will be true or false whether it responds to an event or not. If it is true only, then it will respond to the event. If it is false, then we must make it as a true. That means we must make this command button enabled. So if it is disabled, we must make it as an enabled. Next, different events that are available for this command button are similarly we are having click event, and we can also use it as a double click event. These are the common events that are common for this command button for all the controls. Next is the checkbox events. Checkbox is used when the user has got the choice to select from one or more options. So if you are having more choices, if you are having more choices, then we will use the checkbox control. So some of the properties for this checkbox control are name, alignment, back color, caption, enabled. Suppose we want to make some checkboxes like that, name, for the name, next some of the data. If you want to check one or more options, we must take, not only the single option. For single option we will use another control, but in case of checkboxes, if there are number of options, we can select one or more options. If there are number of options, we can select one or more options. So some name, we can giving name to the checkbox, that is the name property. Alignment, it is used to specify the alignment of the text on the checkbox. We can make it as left, right or center. Similarly, back color sets the background color of the checkbox, and also caption, giving displaying name on this particular checkbox, and also enabling. So it sets the value that determines whether the checkbox can respond to the user or not. If it is disabled, it cannot, it won't respond. If it is enabled only, then it will respond to the user's request. And next we are having some of the font properties, font color and visible, tool tip text, like that. We are having different types of properties for this checkbox. Font is nothing but we can change the font, that means font styles, font size, like that. Foreground color. So in the previous session we have seen about the background color. Here we can also change the foreground color. So it sets the foreground color of the object in the label, like that. So visible, it sets the value that determines whether label is visible or hidden during the runtime. If you want to make it as invisible or hidden during runtime, we can make it as an invisible. Next, option button. So option button is also called a radio button. We can also call it as a radio button. It is used to display the option from which the user can select only one, whereas in case of checkbox we can select any number of options, but whereas in case of this option button we can select only one option, either yes or no, true or false, like that. Only one Any one option we must select. So that is the difference between a checkbox control and an option button control. So some of the properties of this checkbox option button control are name, alignment, font, enable. These are the different common properties we are having: name, alignment, font, and enable. These are the different properties. Next is the list box control. List box control. So list box permits the programmer to load it up with a number of items to allow the user to make the selection and then proceed accordingly. That means, so if you want to give a number of options, if you want to give a number of a list of values, we can use this list box control. So I want to enter from 1 to 100 numbers in a particular list box. So I will enter one by one number by using this list box control. We can enter any number of values into this list box control. So here the list boxes are ideal controls for presenting list of choices to the user. In those list of items, we can select any one item. We can make a choice of any one of the item. So that is the use of this list box control. The properties of this list box control are name, alignment, list, sorted, multi-select, style. So name is nothing but giving the name to the list box control. Alignment is nothing but it is used to specify the alignment of the text in the list box. Either you want to enter the data from left side, right side, or from in the middle, okay, in the center, like that. List, it sets the contained in a list. Whatever the data that we are giving, it will set into the list box by using the property known as list. It lists the contained in it sets the contained in the list. Next, sorted, it sorts the list items automatically. It will be sorted in the alphabetical order or numerical order, like that. Multi-select, it allows the user to make multi-selection in the list box. So similarly, default it will be a single selection. Suppose in a list box I want to select 3 items, then we must make this property multi-select. So default it will be a single select. If you want to make it as a multi-select, we must go to the properties and select the multi-select, so that we can select the multi-selection in the list box. Next is the style. It sets the style of the appearance of the list box, a 3D style or flat style. Next is the combo box. Similar to that of list box, combo box is also used to enter the list of items into the combo box. So the function of the combo box is also to represent the list of items where the user can click and select the items from the list. Whereas in case combo box, the user has to click on the small arrow headed on the right hand side of the combo box. The basic difference between the list box and combo box is that the list box occupies more than combo box. In list box we can give any number of items, whereas in a combo box it is limited to some of the items only. We can give only short list of items. That means the list box occupies more than the combo box. It stores more items than when compared to that of combo box. So these are the different properties we are having in the combo box: name, alignment, list, text, locked, sorted, and the style. So list, it adds an items into the combo box. Whatever item that you want to add into the combo box, we will represent by using the property known as list. And text, it sets the text content in the control. Locked, it determines whether the control can be edited or not. If you don't want to edit any item in the combo box, then it must be locked. We must select the property as locked. Suppose if you want to edit it, we must select it as unlocked. Sorted, it sorts the list items automatically. It will be sorted either in the numerical order or the alphabetical order. Next is the style. It sets the style of appearance of the combo box, whether the 3D appearance or a flat appearance. And next is the timer control. So the timer control on the form is used to fire an event at specific interval of time. So it will be fired at a specific interval of time. The code to fire an event is placed in the trigger timer event. So if you want to fire it in a specific time interval, then we must write a code and we must keep it in the timer event. So the properties of this timer control are name, enable, and the interval. Name is nothing but specifying the name for this particular timer. And enable, it sets the value of true or false that determines whether the timer will be available for the user generated events. It was a timer, the timer should be make it as enabled. So if you make it as disabled, it won't fire any event that we have written. So always it must be make it as enable. And next, interval, it sets the number of milliseconds between the calls to the timer. We must set the timer in terms of milliseconds. And next is the shape control. The shape control is used to draw different types of shapes on the form. We are having different types of shapes: line, rectangle, rounded rectangle, solid. These are the different types of shapes that are available in the shape tool. So the shape property is used to create a specific shapes on the form by using different integer values. So this name is one of the property we are having for this shape control, and also shape is also one of the property. So this name means it specifies the name. We can specify a name to the shape tool, and shape property is used to set the value returning the appearance of the shape tool. That means if you want to make it as a circle, we can make it as a circle, square, rectangle, so rounded corners, like that. These are those are the different shapes that are available with the shape tool. And next, picture box. So the picture box is one of the control that is used to handle the graphics. That means we can place the pictures on this particular picture box. You can upload a picture at design phase by clicking one of the picture item in the property window and select the picture. So we can also load the picture at runtime using the load picture method. So if you want to, at a design time only, if you want to upload some picture in the designing phase itself, then we can place it. Or if you want to place the picture, if you want to load the picture at runtime also, we can load the picture at runtime by using the method known as load picture. So these are the different properties we are having: name, picture, auto size. So name is nothing but giving name to a picture box, and picture means it determines the name of the file, whether it is in .bmp, bitmap file, or GIF file that will be displayed it and can be used for complete logo Next is the auto size. It is automatically resizes the display the entire content of the picture. It resizes the content of the picture at one portion. So in one picture box, it can be automatically resizes the display the entire content of the picture in particular picture box. That is about this picture. Here next is the image tool. So the image box is another control that handle images and pictures. It functions similar to that of picture box. So we are having image tool, and at the same time we are having the picture tool. So it resembles the same, but the major difference between the image box and picture box is image box is stretchable, which means it can be sized, whereas in case of picture box it cannot be stretchable. It cannot be sized. It will be only in a particular size itself. So similarly we are having some properties: name, picture, and the stretch. Name specifies the name of the image tool, and picture, it sets the image that will be displayed on the image control. It sets the picture by using the property known as picture, and by using the property stretch, it determines whether the graphics resized to fit the size of the image control. So it will fit the size of the image control. Okay, so that is the difference. The major difference is image box is stretchable, which means it can be sized. It can be, whereas in case of picture box, it cannot be. So when you observe the difference between an image and picture, we can draw a small figures on the form window and run it. Automatically we can understand the difference between the two, image tool and the picture tool. And next, by using these controls, we will write some small programming by using the controls. So the steps to execute the program are, first of all, if you want to write the program, if you want to open one of the project and if you want to use the controls on this particular form designer window, then we must go to the select start button, go to the programs, and next select the Visual Studio. Next go to the Visual Basic 6.0. So there it will appear, a new project window will be appeared on the screen. Then in that select standard exe. Select standard exe. So the properties window of the form will appear in the properties window. The properties of the form will be appeared on the properties window. That is, the properties window will be always appeared on the right side of the form designer window. In that you select the caption and type any caption you can type, and type the display message. That means we are selecting the property for a form. So we are not keeping any control on the form, just we are changing the property of a form. That means we are changing the property of the form designer window. Just we are changing the property of the form designer window. So after selecting standard exe, directly we can see form on the screen. So on the form, automatically we can see the property window just right side on the form. So select caption and type display message. That is the caption that I want to display on the screen. That is display message. And select background color and change it to orange. And next, place the label on the form. Now you place the label on the form and change its properties as shown below. Okay, so after placing a label on the form, just change the properties of the form as, in caption you type enter your name, and in font you take bold, and the size is 12. Directly we can give 12 comma bold, means automatically it will change into the size 12, and bold letters it will take. And background color is same as it is. We can, if you want to change the background color also, we can change the background color, or if you don't want to change, then keep it as usual. Next, place another label on the form and change in properties window. So first of all, we have changed this for first label, we have changed the caption as enter your name. For the second label box, we are changing the name as label message. LBL message is nothing but label message. And next, making the caption as blank. If you don't type anything, just you kept it as a blank. And border size is fixed, 1 fixed single. Font will be 12 and bold. So we have taken 2 label boxes onto the screen. For one label box, we have given enter your name, and second label box, just we have kept it as empty. And next, place the text box on the form. Next, take a text box and place it on the form and change the properties as name as txt name, text blank, and font will be 12. Font is 12 and bold. So similarly, type one command button on the form and change its properties as name, caption, and font. So we are changing the command button name was CMD, and here we have changed the text box name was TextBox, TXT text name. And next, place another command button. 2 label buttons, label controls we have kept, 2 text box controls and 2 command button controls we have kept. So for this command button also, name it as CMD exit, that is command button exit, caption exit, font 12 and bold. These are the different controls that we have kept on the screen. So for writing a code, if you want to write any code for a command button, so double click on the command button, one code window will be opened like this. One code window will be opened like this. So that is the code window we are having. To write the code, just give it as private sub. So we are using the event known as click event. We are using the event known as click event. So for which control we are writing for this code, we are having cmd for this command button. Okay, cmd okay command button, we are writing the code. So in this command, for this command button, we are displaying it as hello. For this command button, we are displaying it as hello, like that. So next, click on the view object button in the project explorer window to run the form. If you want to run the form, just click on the view object button, view button on the project explorer window. Next, so if you want to exit from the form, then double click on the exit button. We are having another command button, so you double click on the exit button. So automatically we will exit from the project. That means exiting from the project means exiting from the runtime. So here we are having, for this exit also we must write one of the coding format. For cmd exit, we are using the click event. So here label message dot caption. So blb message is nothing but for the second label box we have kept the name as lbl message dot caption. For that particular label box, we have writing the caption is equal to by. So this is the coding that we have written for this command button. So after writing all this, writing the coding and after running this particular project, if you want to save this VB application, just go to the file, select save project as. So if you select the save project as, automatically it first saves the form and then only it saves the project. So if you give save project as, first of all it will ask you whether to save the form or not. So if you want to save the form, then we must give the form name and next we must give the project name. So if you want to run this application, we must press F5 or we can also click on the start button on the toolbar, that is run button. Start button means is nothing but run button. A run button on the, or start button also we can call it as. So run button on the toolbar. So automatically the application will be loaded and it will be, we can see the output onto the screen. So these are the different controls that we are having in the VB. So by using this some of the controls, we have written one small program. So in next class we will see about this, how to declare a variable and how to write a programming. Thank you one and all.